Forms and controlled components in React. Handling forms in React. In React, handling forms involves capturing data entered by users and managing that data within the component state. This allows developers to create interactive and dynamic forms where user input can be processed and validated. Controlled versus uncontrolled components. Control components. In control components, form elements such as inputs, selects, and text areas are controlled by React state. The value of the form element is stored in the component state and React handles the updates to the value. Uncontrolled components. In uncontrolled components, form elements maintain their own state and React doesn't control their values. Instead, developers typically use refs to access the form element's value when needed. Control components are typically preferred in React because they provide a single source of truth for the form data, making it easier to manage and manipulate data. Updating state with form inputs. To update state with form inputs in controlled components, you need to handle the onChange event for each form element and update the corresponding state property. In this example, the handle change method updates the state whenever the value of the input element changes, and the handle submit method logs the form data when the form is submitted. If you look at this class, my form, which extends component, React component, have the constructor here where state is set for username and password to be empty. Whenever the handle change, as we mentioned, the name is set to the event target value, and similarly handle submit, we are just submitting, we're preventing the default, and which is submitting the form, and we just console log the state of the form. And if you look at the HTML element, we have on submit event which calls the handle submit button, the handle submit function, and then we have the to input and the button elements, where inside the input we are setting the value of the text and password to the state's username and password. Form validation and error handling. Form validation is the process of ensuring that user input meets certain criteria or constraints before submitting the form. React provides various techniques for form validation such as conditional rendering, input validation, and validation libraries like Formic or Yep. In this example, you'll see the form is validated by checking if the email and password fields are empty. If there are validation errors, error messages are displayed below the corresponding input fields. So if you see in here in the return element inside the render function, we have the input element. Below that, we have the error messages which will be displayed if there's errors. And that is handled by when the handle submit is pressed, handle submit function is called. We have the if else or if functions, if loops to check if the email, password, or if passwords are there, and if there's any errors, we are probably gonna show that. If not, if there's no error, then we'll just saying form submitted. Forms and control components play a crucial role in React applications, allowing developers to create interactive and dynamic user interfaces. By understanding how to handle forms, update state with form inputs, and perform form validation and error handling, you can build robust and user friendly forms in React applications.